Welcome to the Jesmond Local Hustings.
You have a community that doesn't feel that what's happening has relevancy to it, in terms of people thinking that they don't want to talk about the bins in the back lane because that's not relevant. Well, yeah, it is. Of course, it's relevant. Anyone who saw the telly programme last night about neighbourhood services would have seen the relevancy of how just round the corner here, rubbish is very relevant.
I think that engagement is key, and it's nice to see everyone here, but you're exactly right, there's a lot of people who aren't here. People often highlight students, for example, and the amount of students that we have living in Jesmond. It is important to engage with those.
Yeah, absolutely. Probably similar to Sam, and I've spent most of my thinking life trying to engage young people in politics, and it's very, very, very difficult to do. I think there's two main problems in that, and these are things that we need to sort out. We need to make people aware, firstly, how much it matters to them in every step of life, and that's something that we have to get through to people at a really, really early age, and that's why Green Party supports voting at 16 and compulsory education on politics and citizenship.
With regard to around here, I engage with all of these people by having formal meetings with them or just talking to them on the street. That's the only way. Go out every day and do it.
It's making for some interesting watching, and there's some interesting debates going on, and a lot of stuff is topical to me. I live in Jesmond as well. I cycle to work every single day, so it's interesting to hear like each people's views, obviously some differing from others, but yeah, some encouraging answers going on.
It's going very well. It's a lot better than some of the previous events. The audience is more polite.
I did come in support of a specific candidate, but it's quite interesting to get the range of views across the table and see where people agree and disagree.
We are going to try and quicken up the pace a little bit. We're going to give the candidates 30 seconds as opposed to 60 to answer. Yeah, I know. Exactly. Which will hopefully mean that we can gallop through a couple more questions than we did the first half.
Right, okay, so I mean the first thing to say is that votes don't matter, it's people that matter. I mean, I don't understand how anyone could say that either an old person is more important than a young person living in Jesmond.
If elected, I will continue to run the big tidy-ups because they've been so successful. David Hardman started those, and I think they're absolutely brilliant, and you can see the difference, but it's only a short-term solution. I'd like to take it further. We need to make it more socially unacceptable to drop litter. We want people to take pride in where they live, particularly younger people. Perhaps a visible campaign to get people to think before they drop something.
Thank you.
You know, I'd like to go somewhere and get my fruit and veg. I'd prefer not to go to a supermarket. We had the inception of a farmer's market, a food market 2 weekends ago on Armstrong Bridge, and within an hour and a half every food store was sold out. It was a phenomenal success. I'd like to encourage more of that.
Thank you.
I think Jesmond's great. I'd love to see it go from strength to strength. I'd love to see like more business, more competition, more markets, all that sort of thing, as I'm sure you could all probably guess. I'd love to have it so students could stay here after they graduate rather than feel like they have to move down. I just go from strength to strength, basically. But fundamentally, I'd like to see perhaps less. I'd work in the council to have less representatives for Newcastle East.
I think like everybody, we're probably not in favour of these big supermarkets, but economically many people have to use the cheapest options that are available. We've got these things, at least locally. It's probably better than them being out of town somewhere, because if you haven't got a car, you can't. It's very difficult to get to. At least you can walk to like your local shops. One thing I would say about these like big multinationals is that we've got to make them pay their taxes, because they're all, there's a great tax avoidance problem in the country.
So thank you very much, audience, for coming along, for participating, for listening. I hope you find that useful. Well, sadly, the one person who came here and declared he was undecided has left. So I'm not sure what that says about the level of debate, but I hope for all of us, even though we maybe came with preconceived ideas and intentions, maybe at least we've heard something that might just have stirred us to action in some way or other. And finally, thank you to our candidates. Thank you for being willing to be honest and bearing your souls and tell us your visions or your non-visions or whatever. I think that's been really helpful in all kinds of ways. So thank you again for being willing to stand and represent the people of Jesmond. Ladies and gentlemen.